Hello and welcome to Fin Business at Cyboss. We have an interesting guest today, Mr. MV Tanksale, the former CEO of IBA, the former chairman of Central Bank of India, and currently a consultant with Swift India. So, sir, you have been doing a lot of work, even post your retirement from IBA as well as the Central Bank of India. Just wanted to understand from you. There has been a lot of work that is happening at India Swift, and we had a chat with the chairman of India Swift as well. From your perspective, since you have been heading a consortium of IBA, what are the benefits that today the banks can see with the kind of company and the kind of infrastructure that India Swift is going to bring into the country? On the other hand, we would also like to know what are the key hindrances that are actually in the path today to create this as a strongest consortium which can be a superpower for bringing the corporate banking, B2B banking and wholesale banking to the next level of digitization in the world.
Let me tell you that all of us in India have been availing the SWIFT services for our cross-border trade for last about 25 years plus. And thus all of us know the benefits. So everyone in the banking industry realize that what the SWIFT means to an importer and exporter today, where he just wants a SWIFT code to be communicated to counterparty that I have done this transaction, and that transaction gets a credibility. Now if I compare it with the same thing, what happens on the domestic side, domestic trade finance, which involves the letter of credits, letter of guarantees, standby letter of credits, so on and so on. So when it comes to the domestic trade finance activities of letter of credits and letter of guarantees, standby letter of credits, let me tell you, we are all handling huge papers and transacting between the two corporates, using two banks for establishing a credit, for discounting a credit, for reaching the goods to a destination, taking delivery of the goods. The whole lot of thing is manual and is a time-taking process. Sometimes the goods reach in 5 days, the documents reach in 15 days, and you can't take delivery, or you have to have alternate mechanism for. So the greatest benefit which is going to accrue by putting the complete trade finance or domestic trade finance on the Swift India platform will be the credit risk, request can be initiated at the corporate level digitally. It moves to the banks digital. It moves from bank to another bank, that is the issuing bank to the advising bank digitally, and advising bank moves to the corporate digitally. For the reverse, the same thing will happen when you complete the documents, get the document moved digitally for discounting. It gets discounted, goes to the issuing bank, and it goes to the opener of the LC. And these transactions, if everything happens digitally, the whole process will get reduced to maybe a couple of hours, that's all. And that kind of operational efficiency the banking industry will reap. Today, the essential part of the trade finance is a document which is called a railway receipt, motor lorry receipt, or any other document which shows that these are the goods in possession, which is a negotiable instrument, which is endorsable instrument, which gives the financial power to a holder in due course. And that is why we will need a sort of support from the government agencies to convert all these documents into digital documents and give the same authenticity.
So from a global perspective, when you see, how many such India Swifts are active in different countries?
Well, let me tell you, as my chairman would have said, Swift has chosen India as the first destination to form a JV company. So there are no other JV companies elsewhere. But if you ask me whether such platforms are operational, yes, Singapore has got some such platform. So in other countries, they are using Swift even for a domestic purpose, domestic transaction, whereas in India we don't. And that is why this venture has been created.
And what kind of innovations you see coming into India Swift now in the near future?
See, when you talk of innovation, we are an industry which is working for community. So whatever will be the demand coming from the various corporates and the various bankers, today what is happening that if as a corporate I am dealing with 10 banks, I am having with 10 banks host to host relation on a different platform. If all that is taken care of by one single entity called Swift, life will be extremely simple. Towards that, a lot of customization will be required to be done by the Swift. Swift globally is known for standards. The most important in the financial markets is that there should be an authenticity to the standards which are created, and that is a great value which is going to be added by means of standards, by means of the global best practices and the technology which is being practiced elsewhere.
And as a consortium, what is required from IBA or any of the consortium?
See, today out of 20, almost 21 banks have signed up for getting onboarded. They are at a different level of integration. What ultimately is required if you want to be a successful ecosystem, all the banking players, all the scheduled commercial banks in the country must get hooked on to this platform. All the big corporates must get hooked on to the platform. Now, if you ask me, what will happen to the SME? Can SME come to the Swift India directly? No. So, we have created another facilitation in terms of innovation, what you call it, hub and spoke model. We call it a member concentrator. One of the bank can play a role as a member concentrator for all his small corporates who may not be able to come to the Swift directly, and thus they will come through that member concentrator.
So, any major role that the regulator is playing now in this, or?
Well, as you know that the regulator have given the license to this entity to be formed, and thus as per the license, wherever regulatory indulgence is required, we are the most compliant company.
Great. Thank you very much, sir, for
Thank
a
you.
wonderful discussion.
Thank you so
very
much.
much.